So I'm we between
I
two
got you.
computers. We between two computers. Okay.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna tell you when we up. She turning. We on. We are now live. We are now live. So I'm going to introduce you to the rest of the world. Tell them what we're going to be talking about on tonight, but just keep in mind that you telling your story. You telling your story. So the first 30 minutes, you just talking, okay? Unless somebody in the chat section, I might go on and say something, but I'll, let you know. If not, we just wait to the end. But the main thing is you getting your story out there and things that you want to share. Remember, you sharing with the whole world now. People in other countries can see you because of this broadcasting system that you connected to. So I'm just going to go and introduce you to some, and some may already know you. Okay, I want to thank you for coming on tonight, agreeing to come on tonight. It is definitely my honor to have you to come out and share your story with the rest of the world. Really looking forward to hearing your story and also the impacts that will come from it. And so at this time, I know that the point of discussion originally was breaking generational curses and being the change, but you can talk at whatever scope that you want to, even if it's going into whatever areas, because on here it's unscripted, okay? So turn it over to you now. Turn it over to you now.
You got to tell her who I am, ain't that true?
Well, Doc Amey, from this local area, my nephew,
I'm
and
just messing with you, ain't that true? I was just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
First, I just want to tell you thank you for, thinking about me and giving me the opportunity to get on your platform, and for me to be able to share my story on your platform. It's an honor and a pleasure. We go way back.
Yes.
From when I first came home from prison. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? You got a piece in my story. So, so I just want to thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome.
So as she was saying, my name is Doc Amey. I'm from Texas City. I was born and raised in Texas City. My biological dad died when I was 6 months old. My mama was on drugs until I was like 9 or 10, 11 years old. And so me and my brother, we lived with my grandma, you know what I'm saying? And my grandma, she was, working as much as she could to do what she could to keep us taken care of. And just at an early age, I became a product of my environment.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm looking up to my uncles, my brother, my cousins. They hustling, smoking weed, doing all that. So at a very early age, I became a product of my environment, just kind of being and doing what I'm seeing around me. Right. So at a very early age, I stopped going to school.
Okay.
And my grandmother passed away when I was like maybe 14 or 15 years old, you know what I'm saying? And my grandma, she was really like the glue. Even though, we still was kind of doing our own thing, you know what I'm saying? With her being alive, I didn't really just wild all the way out, you know what I'm saying? I still had some restraints on myself. But I honestly believe when my grandmother passed away, it was something ignited inside of me to where I just kind of really didn't even care. You know what I'm saying? Because I know my grandma loved God and everything. And when she passed away, I kind of just was like, I really didn't care about a whole bunch of stuff no more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I started making a lot of bad choices. I started going to jail. I started doing drugs myself.
Okay.
I can remember we moved back. Me and my brother moved back with my mama, and she was more like our friend than our actual mama.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we was able to get away with a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, like we used to smoke weed around her, do all kind of stuff because I feel like, you know, personally, this is how I feel.
Okay.
I felt that my mama was kind of living under a guilt of us growing up and her being on drugs and she not really being there for us like she wanted to. So she was more like our friend than our mama. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so with that attitude, I could be out somewhere and people be like, "Hey, Doc, man, you need to do this. You need to chill, stop, move." And I'm thinking in my head, like, you can't tell me what to do. You ain't my mama.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so as I got a little older, when I turned 17, I ended up getting 2 girls pregnant at the same time.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yes.
And so I got these 2 girls pregnant, and so now I'm growing up a little bit faster now because now I kind of, you know, I got younger seeds coming up under me.
Right.
So it's like I'm almost grown now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I felt, like I was grown.
Yeah.
So then with the hustling and the drugs and now I got kids, I started really getting in trouble. And after I turned 18, I was like really going to jail now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so I went to jail a couple times. You know, misdemeanor, possession of drink, dangerous drugs, evading arrest, stuff like that, but nothing serious yet.
Okay.
But then when I turned 21, I went to prison for the first time.
Okay.
I went to a place in Dallas called Bridgeport Private Unit.
Okay.
And I went down there, did what I was supposed to do, came on home, you know what I'm saying? And but the streets were still in me. You feel me? And you know, it's a lot of stuff that I did. Like I got a book that I wrote that I published and it tell my whole life, man. Like I did some crazy stuff. You feel me? Like one time, this just one of the crazy instances of things that I did, right? So one time, me and my brother and then we all had a Swisher house in South Park, them apartments down there. And I mean, I basically begged my uncle to keep the weed. I'm like, please, Uncle Greg, you gotta keep the weed, He like, nah, man, nah, I ain't doing that. So I begged him. So he ended up saying, okay.
Okay.
So later on that night, I go home because I didn't live at the spot. I went home.
Okay.
And I'm at home. I just jump out the shower and I get a beep. That's when we had beepers. My mama beat me 911, so I know it's an emergency. So I call her back. I go to the payphone. I call my mama back. I'm like, what's up? She say, I don't know what's going on, but your uncle is fixing to go to jail, and he keep on saying, call Doc. So I called him. I try to go get him out, but he had some tickets. So, but on the way to me trying to go get him out, being on these drugs, high, smoking wet, popping Xanax pills, drinking syrup, smoking weed.
You were doing that?
I was drunk.
You were doing
me.
Oh, okay.
Yes, me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fully intoxicated trying to drive to Texas City at 3:00 in the morning to go get my uncle out of jail. And you know how when you coming down Main Street, and you cross over 146, you know when you cross over 146, backed up by the plants?
Yeah.
Well, if you make a right, you can go to Galveston.
Yes.
If you make a left, you can go to Texas City. Well, I didn't do neither. I fell asleep and kept straight, hit the curve, went over the gas line down into the ditch.
Oh my goodness.
Almost killed
Yeah.
almost killed myself. So
Yeah.
just make a long story short, the next day when I went and saw the man at the record, because I still had some weed in my car, I'm trying to get the stuff out the car. He tell me, hey man, listen, the police done already went through it, ain't nothing in the car. He say, where's the driver? I say, you looking at him? He say, no, like, where's the driver? I say, you looking at him?
Okay.
He say, I've been wrecking for over 30 years and my dad been wrecking for over 50. People don't walk away from these kind of wrecks. Like, where's the driver?
Yeah.
I say, you looking at him? He say, did you thank God when you woke up this morning? He say, because you had to be at least 30 to 40 feet in the air. And if you'd have hit that gas line that runs underground, you'd have blew up the plant from here all the way to Baytown. Because it's a gas line that run underground all the way to Baytown. That I hit the curve and actually went over the gas line.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's just one of the many little stories, man, of my life that I've been through, man. I've been stabbed, I've been shot, I've shot people, you know what I'm saying? I've set people's houses on fire. But it wasn't until I started getting older and my sons was getting a little bit older, and then I had to realize that, is this something that I want my sons to eventually have to come back to the streets and you know, go through their own self? Because I know it's nothing in them streets. Ain't nothing. Like, if you out there in them streets and you hustling and you selling drugs, man, it's three ways out of the streets.
Give them to us.
In jail, or you figure it out and you turn your life around. You know what I'm saying? And so I was in prison for the third time on a pistol case. I had caught a pistol case, and I was and I had a 5-year sentence. And I was sitting in prison, and I was working in the hog barn, cleaning up hog mess as a job. Could you just visualize that? Listen.
Okay.
Let me tell you how that happened, right?
Tell us. The world is listening.
So look, they put us on a bus, right? They take me to this unit. They take me to East Ham unit. They put me on the bus, take me to the unit from the Holiday unit, and they put us all in this room, right? And what you do, you go and you sit in the warden's office, and this is the warden of the whole prison. And when you go in there, you know, he kind of give you a rundown. He look at what you've been in prison, what you in prison for, and he just kind of give you a rundown. Hey, say, this is what's gonna happen. This is what not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And so if you abide by these rules, you might as well just get back on the bus and yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
So the lieutenant, after they take us all back out to where we all sit at, they start assigning us jobs. They start giving, because I was on a trustee camp. So they start assigning everybody jobs, right? So they come up to me and they ask me, are you afraid of animals? Right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, you ask me, am I afraid of animals, right? At the worst, the worst, I'm thinking about a horse.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't mind working with no horse. A cow, I don't mind working with no cow. A dog, I love dogs, so I'm not even tripping. So when he asks me, am I scared of animals? I tell him, nah, man, I ain't scared of no animals, right? So bam, the next morning, they wake me up. This is my first night on the unit. They wake me up at about 3:30 to go eat breakfast, right?
Okay.
I go eat breakfast, come back to my dorm. Ain't nobody told me nothing about this, what time they come to wake you up for work, none of that. I didn't even know I had a job. All I know is the man asked me, was I scared of animals? I didn't even know I had a job, right?
This was in prison.
This was in prison.
Okay.
So about 4:45, 5 o'clock, the lawman come beating on my bunk. Boom, boom, boom. He say, "You Amey?" Flash the flashlight in my face. I say, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you need to get up." I say, "Okay, yes, sir. What's going on?" He said, "It's time to go to work." I say, "Okay." He say, and your last name Amey, so you need to be at the front of the line every morning when I come, because you the first on the list. I said, "Oh, yes, sir."
Yeah.
So I go to reach to try to grab for my my toothbrush and stuff. He tell me, "Oh no, it's too late for that. You're gonna have to do that tomorrow. You're gonna have to get up early enough." I said, "Okay, that's cool. I understand." So they put us on this bus and they take us down this long road. Long road, so long, ain't no lights on it, on nothing, right? I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, and then I see this barn, and they pull up to this barn, and ain't let you. When I tell you, when I got off the bus, I threw up everything. I had never in my life smelled nothing so bad in my life, right?
Yeah.
So they tell me, they say, "Yeah, this the hog barn. We working in the hog barn, and this is, they gave me my job description. My job description was to walk through these barns with a big old broom and a water hose and clean up all the hog mess in the barns."
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
And hogs stink. They stink. They not the pigs.
I had never smelled nothing like that a day in my life. I mean, I'm literally in there with them, cleaning it up.
Oh.
And they poop a lot too.
Oh man.
So I did that for about 7 months, right? And I went and I saw parole, and I got my parole denied. And so when I got my parole denied, the next morning when I came in there, man, I just went in the corner and I cried, like real live alligator tears in a hog barn, cleaning up hog mess. I'm crying. And I just said, "God, like if you real, like everybody say you real, then you will get me out of this, man. Like if you get me out of this, I'm through. I'm through with the street, the women. Like, man, I can't do this."
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So slowly but surely, I ended up getting moved off that unit to another unit, and things started kind of looking up for me. I started going to church with this group at this other unit that I was on. Everything was kind of good, you know what I'm saying? And November 23rd, 2009, I made parole.
Okay.
I made, and that was the Monday before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I got out of prison. I was on fire for the Lord. I mean, I was on fire for the Lord, right?
Yeah.
And when I got out, my brother and his wife, they was going to this little small Baptist church called Trinity Missionary Baptist Church.
Yes.
and I started going to church there with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I started kind of, moving up in the ranks. I became a deacon. God was working in my life.
Yeah.
And everything was going good.
Yeah.
And then in 2011, October 2011, my uncle died. My uncle. And my cousin called me. And he said, "Look, Doc, check this out, man. You know my daddy died. He ain't have no insurance, right?" He say, I got this drink and I got this weed that I need to try to sell so we can pay for his funeral." He say, "Look," he say, "you don't have to touch nothing, but I know you know some people that still mess with it."
Yeah.
And I was thinking in my head, you know what? Yeah, okay, cool. I help my cousin out, right? Thought I was doing the right thing. I'm working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the whole time, I'm not giving nobody his number. I'm giving everybody my number.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they calling me, then I'm calling him, and then I'm going to pick it up, and then I'm dropping it off to them, like almost like the middleman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So a week go by, and he tell me, hey, look, check this out, kinfolk, man, I'm finna go back to where I live at, man. If you want, if you want to make some money, I still got this much, and I don't want to jump on the plane with it. Do you want to sell it just to make you some money?
Yeah.
I say, yeah, that's cool. I'll do that. So before you know it, I'm doing all this, moving all this, doing back and forth, slowly but surely.
Right.
I'm on a train on my way to go pick up a shipment
Oh.
to sell.
In 2011.
Mind you now. Huh?
This all happening in 2011.
Yeah, late 2011, early 2012.
Okay.
So mind you now, I'm back smoking weed, I'm back sipping drink, and I'm back hustling. Right?
Yeah.
So I get out there to where he at with it. We get everything together. I'm on the train coming back with it. And when I get back, he called me and say, hey, get off in San Antonio, don't go to Houston. Because the laws with the dogs in Houston, get off in San Antonio, I'm gonna have somebody pick you up. I said, okay, cool. So I get off in San Antonio, we drive to Houston. When we get to where we was going in Houston, my cousin that I've been talking to on the phone is sitting in the house. So I'm lost. I'm like, what? And he tell me, hey, look, man, I appreciate, what you did, but look, this here, this here for somebody else. And so I got to get this on, but I'm gonna give you this. So it's like I was almost played like a pawn, you feel me?
Yeah.
And so I started thinking in my head, like, man, because mind you now, I done crossed like 5 state lines.
Yeah.
Every state line that I done crossed, each state line would have been a federal case if I would have got caught.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, it was in those moments I started like, man, I'm tripping. Like, I'm tripping. And I had been thinking this way for like 2 months, right? And so one day, I done stopped going to church, all of that. You feel me? I'm like, I'm still working, but I'm like back in the streets. I'm back in the streets for real. And so one day I was getting something out of my closet, and a box fell out of my closet. And when I picked it up, it was everything from prison. It was my letters, my pictures, my commissary slips, everything. And when I went to go grab it, it's like, not in an audible voice, but down in my spirit, I can just hear God say, what are you doing? Like, I thought I didn't have to worry about you going back out there messing around no more.
Yeah.
And I got so convicted. I was like, man, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
And so that kind of started my journey back to where I needed to be, because I knew that I made a promise to God that if he got me out of those situations, especially after everything that I had been through, I made a promise to God that if he got me out of those situations, that I wouldn't go back to that.
Yeah.
And I still went back to it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so it didn't happen overnight, but the change did start happening in my heart. You know what I'm saying? And so I ended up running into my my children's pastor, who was my children's pastor when I was real little.
Yeah.
His father-in-law used to come pick us up on the bus in my neighborhood when I was little, and I ran into him at my son's football game. And we just kind of talked. He let me know, hey, I got the church over here. My dad, he gave me the reins to the church, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I started going to church, man, and I started going back to church, and it's like I was there every time the doors opened. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew that it was a void that I needed to fill in my life. And then on top of that, my sons was growing up, and I didn't want them to have to be in the streets. That's why I get the logo, be the change that you want to see.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So, like, I can't go out and just tell my sons, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. I had to first start living it. I had on my personal self, I had to first start living it and start being something that they can visually see. Before I start saying, hey, you need to do this, and hey, you need to do that. Like my sons, both of them, I got daughters too, but they do pretty good. The girls, the girls make out pretty good. It's the young men that are easily influenced with the world around them. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I was so imperative on trying to make sure that I reach my sons, because I didn't want them to be a statistic. You know what I'm saying? And so my sons right now can personally tell you, I've never heard my dad curse. I've never saw my daddy smoke, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to be a positive influence for them. That way, if they did go out and do any of that kind of stuff, it's because they wanted to do it on their own. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
So in that, my son was one of the first ones to ever just my oldest son to go and live on a college campus. He went and lived on TSU campus for like a year. I got another son, my other son just graduated last year. He's at Texas State. He's at Texas State University. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like me really turning my life around and putting my anything that I really wanted to do, because it could have been easy for me to just stay in the streets and continue hustling, doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? Saying, and if I did, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now. You feel me? So, but I do feel like me making those sacrifices, I was able to help break the generational curse on part of my family lineage. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm able to change the way that I go, so my sons don't really see or really know of any of it. When they have kids, they kids ain't gonna even smell none of the smoke of what I've been through. Like when they have kids and they get to telling their kids about me, they gonna be like, no, Papa ain't do that, because they gonna be so far removed from anything that I went through. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's one thing that I try to reach out and let people know. Like, I have people all the time reach out to me, hey, Doc, man, you mind talking to my son? You mind talking to my nephew? And I don't. I promise I don't, man. I will any day. You feel me? But what you're doing physically that they can see has to be something in line with what I'm saying, because they're not listening to me while they're watching you. It's what I try to get people to understand.
Clarify that a little bit, because I got some young people who are watching you, and so I want you to kind of clarify that for them, by them being 17, 18, 19, 21 years old. When you say that just kind of a buzzer went off, because I don't think they would understand it.
Okay, so what I try to get people to understand is, you know, you asking me to go talk to your son, and I don't mind that. But you smoking weed in front of him, you drinking, you shooting dice, you cussing, you having multiple women around you. They're looking at what you're doing and they're not listening to what I'm saying, because nowadays kids not really listening to what people got to say, more as they're looking at what people are doing. So for you to ask me to talk to your son, nephew, or whatever, you have to be a better role model at home so it can line up with what I'm saying, so they can get what I'm saying, because I can talk till I'm blue in the face, but if you're doing something different, that's what they're gonna pick up on.
Okay. So
you know what I'm saying?
I
and
do.
See, a lot of times these kids, they see the smoking weed, they see the hustling, they see the drinking, they see the partying, they see the multiple women, and they think that that's life, man. But that's really not life, man, because at the end of the day, you know, you get to going down this rabbit trail and you start going the wrong way, eventually you're gonna have to make a U-turn if you live long enough to.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I know and that I feel like I'm a master at, I didn't go get a degree from college, but I do got a degree from the streets.
Yeah.
A master's degree in the streets.
Yeah.
That the choices that you make today will have a direct influence on your life tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whether those choices are good choices or bad choices. We can hang with our friends, we can skip school, we can smoke weed, and we can fail in school and not do good. And then when you get 25, 26, 27, 28, and you decide that, you know what, I'm getting too old for this, I need to do something different to try to change my life, you've wasted all them years. Now you don't really have no kind of foundation or no ground to stand on. I wasted a whole lot of my life away. Yeah. And time is the most valuable asset that anybody will ever possess a day in their life.
Yes.
And you know, and this is something that I had to learn myself. You get to losing time, because one thing about it, time, you will never get that back, man. And we lose time and we keep on saying, and listen, I'm preaching to myself right now.
That's okay.
I do it tomorrow.
Hey,
I do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I do it tomorrow. But eventually, today becomes tomorrow, and you done got nothing done, and now you rushing trying to get everything done, and you make mistakes in doing that.
Yeah. But you are a certified welder, right?
No, I didn't get certified.
Okay.
I ended up getting a job before I got my certification.
Okay.
And then I ended up getting laid off from that job about 3 years later.
Okay.
But I'm so thankful for the experience, because right now at the job that I'm at, I do weld a little bit at my job. Like when there's no welders to weld a certain job, even though I'm a Boilermaker, they still come and get me and say, hey, Doc, I need you to weld this up real quick. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I still got the experience and the knowledge of how to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just haven't got certified yet.
That's okay.
But to my young people out there that may be watching, man.
Yeah, they watching you.
Listen, man, it's two kind of people in the world. It's two kind of people in the world, from what I've learned and what I've been able to understand. It's people who learn from other people's mistakes, and it's people who learn from their own mistakes. I was somebody that learned from my own mistakes, and I got in a lot of trouble, and I ended up making for myself what's called a paper trail. And you ask me, what is a paper trail? Every time you get in trouble, every time you go to jail and you catch a case, it's documented. Possession of dangerous drugs, possession of narcotics, evading arrest, possession of a firearm. And if you got a felony, that possession of a firearm goes to unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, and that's automatic jail time. You feel me? So you get this paper trail, and then you start having kids, and then down the road you decide, you know what, man, I really need to stop this. I gotta stop this. I need to get a job so I can take care of my family, right? And then you start going apply for jobs. Like one time, I went to go apply for a job, and these people literally sent me my background in the mail. Like, dude, do you not realize what you got on your background? Like, we can't hire you.
Right.
Because if anything was to happen with you on the clock, guess what they gonna want to know? Who hired him?
Yeah.
And why did you hire him? Did you not realize he's an ex-con?
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
I do.
And so right now, you have a chance to go out and do something with your life. You don't have to hit the same roadblocks that somebody like me hit because I was too hard-headed and I didn't want to listen, and I was, I wanted to be a gangster. I wanted to be in the streets. Ain't nothing wrong with being a square, because guess what? 9 times out of 10, the ex-gangsters that's out here that got a job that's working for somebody else, guess who we working for? We working for the square that did his homework every day, didn't go to the parties, didn't do all of that, did everything he was supposed to do. So now the gangsters that done turned their life around, we working for the squares.
That make a lot of sense. That was powerful right there. Because
you feel what I'm saying?
I do.
Hey man, ain't nothing wrong with going to get your education, because guess what? Your education is something that nobody can ever take from you a day in your life. Everything that you get up here, it ain't like somebody can just walk up to you, grab your head, unscrew it, take it off. Oh, you know this much in math? Let me have that. Oh, you know that much in science? Let me have that. No. Your education is something that nobody can take from you, man. And the more that you know and the more that you learn, the more that you will be able to walk up to any job and tell them what you want to get paid.
Yeah, that's right.
You feel me? But that's something that we wasn't taught.
Yeah.
We wasn't taught that kind of stuff. We wasn't taught to learn how to manage your credit. We wasn't taught how to really save your money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's a lot of stuff that these young kids not really, they listening to NBA young boy talk about how I do this and I do that, and they living this life that is not gonna get you nowhere but dead or in jail, man.
Yeah. Woo, that's the truth. That's the truth.
You know what I'm saying? A lady inboxed me today and asked me what's wrong with these kids, because the model that they live by now is hell or jail.
Yeah.
They rather die and go to hell, because they I guess they believe God ain't real, so they automatically feel like, you know what, I'm gonna go to hell anyway, or I'm gonna go to jail. But man, let me tell you, man, from somebody who, God is real, man.
Yeah.
God is real, man.
He is real. He real.
You feel me? Because the way that I know God is real, because I know who I used to be.
Right.
I know who I used to be.
Yeah.
I know all my deep, dark secrets that nobody will never know, but I know who I used to be.
Yeah.
And I know I don't think like that. I don't act like that no more. I know the change that God made up in me, and it couldn't have been nobody but God to make that change.
See, when I think about what you're saying right now, and I did an interview with Mr. Mike McAfee. He was basically saying that same, thing, that experience. But what I realize is that when you guys come onto the platform, y'all get a lot of young people traction. That is what myself and my technical director, we were talking about that. Getting these young people interested in people who are giving them some solid information in life. And because just like you were saying, so many times they're around all this negativity, but it's people like yourself And other, young men, I still call y'all young because y'all younger than me.
Yeah,
But
let's go.
y'all are so powerful. But nobody never tell y'all how powerful y'all are. Well, I'm gonna tell you on tonight, and I'm saying this, and I've been saying it. I respect, the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons and all of them. I respect them. Martin Luther King's, Malcolm X's. But in today's time, the ones who are still here, they're doing their thing. But y'all are powerful for this era that we are in right now because our young people, I mean, you don't know if you're going to wake up the next day and they done lost their lives. But every time a life is taken, that's impacting mothers and grandmas and daddies and grandpas and family members. It's never just them. But this game mess is coming back.
Let me give you a quick little story, right? And this is, and I honestly believe that this is the story that actually changed my life, even though I went to prison afterwards and everything. But this is the moment that my life, I feel like, truly changed, right? So you remember I was telling you, me and my mama, we born a week apart.
Okay.
Right? My birthday February the 9th, her birthday is February the 16th, and my mama always told me that, I just know you need some special love. Like, my biological dad died when I was 6 months old. And so my mama, me and my mama always been close. You feel me? And so anytime I was ever in trouble, go to jail or anything, I didn't have to worry about it because I knew my mama was going to find a way to get me out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even most times I pay my own money, but she gonna sign for the bail bonds, but she gonna make sure I, get a ride from Galveston, whatever the case may be. She write me when I was in prison, you know what I'm saying? But the time that I had caught my gun case, I called my mama, and she was on the phone. I had been living with my mama, I think for about 5-6 months, close to a year. I had been on the run. And so I called her, she answered the phone. I said, "Hey, mama." She said, "Hey, baby." I said, "Hey, well, look, check this out. I got Ed. Ed was the bail bondsman." I said, "I got Ed on the other line." I say, and he gonna come by the house and bring you them papers so you can sign, for me to get out of jail. And she say, "Nah, Doc, I'm not gonna do that this time." Mind you now, I'm on serve, I'm on wet, I'm on weed, so I'm in jail going through withdrawals. I'm like, "What you mean you not gonna come get me, man? No, you got mama, you got to come get me." She like, "Nah, Doc, I ain't coming this time." I'm like, "No, yes you are. Like, mama, please." I'm like, "Mama, please, mama, you can't leave me in here." And you know what she told me in lecture?
What's that?
She said, Doc, I don't think you realize it or not, but mama tired. She say, "You killing me, son." She say, "Every time I hear the phone ring, I think something happened to you. Every time I hear a siren, I think something happened to you. Every time I hear a gunshot, I think something happened to you." She said, "I can't sleep or eat or nothing because I don't know what's going on with you out there."
Yeah.
She said, "But me, knowing you in jail, I know you all right.
Yeah.
Because I know you gonna take care of yourself. You done been too many times."
Yeah.
She said, "If I felt like something was gonna happen to you in jail, I would definitely come get you." She said, "But I know you all right." She said, "Mama need to get some rest."
Yeah.
She said, "So I love you. I don't want you to think I'm hanging up in your face, but I'm finna hang up the phone."
Yeah.
And I say, "No, mama, please, come on, mama. I say, "Mama," I say, "Ed, you still there?" He said, yeah, I'm here, Doc." I say, "Well, look, Ed, man, just go by there, Ed. Just go by there. She said, "No, Ed, don't come over here. I'm not gonna answer my door. Do not come over here." He said, "Doc," and she tell me I can't go. I'm not going, man. I say, "Come on, mama, please." Now I'm crying on the phone.
Yeah.
Now I start crying. "Oh, come on, mama, please. You got mama, please." She said, "No, Doc, I'm not doing it." She said, "I love you," and she hung up the phone.
Oh.
That was the first time my mama ever did that. And you know what my mama did? For the first time in my life, my mama pulled that safety net from up under me, and she finally let me hit my butt to see how hard that flow was. Cause like your mom, like my grandma used to say, "Boy, you gonna hit that brick wall." And you know what's crazy? The first time I went to prison, when they opened the cell and I walked in the cell, you gotta walk in and you turn around and you put your arms through the gate so they can unlock the handcuffs. But you looking at this brick wall, and all I heard was my grandma. When you hit that brick wall is something else.
Yeah.
But I think when my mama told me no, I think that was the first time that I finally realized, like, man, I'm out here tripping, and I could really be in jail, and it ain't nothing I could do about it but sit up in here. And that broke me, like, for real. That broke me, because I was like, man. And then on top of that, she started calling people. I don't care if he call you, do not go get it. I'm trying to call all kind of people. They tell me, "Nah, kinfolk, your mama told me don't come get you, man." Yeah. For real.
Yeah. I'm gonna go over to the chat section because we got some chats in there that's going on, and basically kind of tell you a little bit about what's being said in the chat section. We don't say who the viewers are, just say what's going on in the chat section. So here we go.
You can go in and look at it.
So anyways, we have, one young man, he's just, sending some hand claps to you. We have another viewer who is saying God works in mysterious ways if we let him. Because when you originally started out, you were talking about the power of God and how God is so real. Then we have another viewer that's saying what you saying is so true. And it is. Another viewer is calling what you saying, agreeing with you, saying facts. Then we have another viewer says, "I'm qualified, clean record, and experience, and refuse to accept less than what I know my worth." That goes back to when you were saying that viewer put themselves in that position to be able to say that. And then right here the viewer says kids don't realize how their action affect them in the long run.
Yeah, like, for real, man. A lot of people don't understand that when you out here doing what you doing and you in these streets and you wilding out, man, if anything happened to you in these streets, man, you hurting everybody around you. I'm gonna tell you what I tell them, ain't Metro. And this gets them every time, right? Especially somebody with kids, right?
Yes.
And I just tell them, I say, "Listen, man, you done been to the penitentiary, you been out here in these streets, man. You know ain't nothing out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying?" I say, if you do anything other than change your life for your kids and the people that's dependent on you, you selfish, man. You selfish if you don't change for the people behind you, because you know ain't nothing out here, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got people depending on you, man. So you need to really shape up and change, man, for them. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for them, man.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing it for them, at least admit it to yourself. At least admit it to yourself. Because the only way you're going to find a way out is to admit your demons, face your demons, and move on.
And Jackie being a counselor for many years, you know, she's retired now, but being a counselor for many years, she will tell you, you have to have passion for the people that you're working with. And I'm going to tell you, just like I said earlier, you guys are great. Don't let nobody tell y'all different. Everybody has an error. Everybody. Mm-hmm. And you know what makes y'all great? Because y'all are passionate about what y'all do. It's not just licensed counselors and that. Man, peer counseling is something that many people don't pay attention to. But that's what y'all are. And peer counselors, they make a larger impact because you know why? Y'all come in contact with more people because you in them streets and you're not afraid to go in those streets. And so to me and to many others, and Jackie's sitting here, and I know she's going to say something before we get ready to go off. We got 10 more minutes. Let me tell you something. Don't you never ever let nobody tell you that you're not a great man. Don't never let nobody tell you. It's too many people pushing y'all to the side because, oh, they ain't got no certification for that or no license for that. You got the best license in the world to be what we call, and Jackie sit here, she can tell you, peer counselors. Y'all in the trenches. But see, people don't tell y'all that. When they start talking about people, they talk about people really that's dead and gone. And they did make impacts. You understand? They talk about the other people who are still living, and they are making impacts. But they need to stop acting like what y'all are doing is not impacted. Because you being on here tonight have kept the concentration of young men. When McAfee was on here, it was the same. You call that great because you got people who need to hear what you say, and you're a peer counselor. Jackie? Jackie?
Never never underestimate the power of being yourself, being true to yourself. Because when you are true to yourself and you are walking the walk and talking the talk, the people notice.
Yes, they do.
The right people notice. And Doc, that's what you're doing. I know you have been through hell. You've been through hell. But you know what? You didn't bring it with you. You left it. You left it there and you pulled yourself up. And I'm going to tell you my motto. I have a motto, is that everyone deserves my respect until they prove me otherwise. And if you prove to me otherwise that you don't deserve my respect, then you get a chance to re-earn it. And that's what you did. Like, you lost some people's respect, but then you opened your eyes in that pigsty. You opened your eyes and you said, I deserve better than this. I deserve better than this. And you didn't walk away saying, I'm going to pretend it didn't happen. You're trying to stop that cycle. I have goosebumps. I just want you to know. I mentioned earlier that, my own brother, my brother went to prison for grand theft auto. And when he would have gone to prison many other times for many other things. And I'm just saying, I'm not in denial at all that the reason he didn't is because of the color of his skin. I know that. But he couldn't deal with it when it was all said and done. And he took his own life.
Yeah.
He didn't have the courage to be a man about it. He didn't have the courage to walk the walk and talk the talk and be an example. Thank you. That's right. Thank you for having the courage. There are just too many young men
Too many.
And young women out there too.
Yeah.
Too many
yeah,
young men who are nothing but angry, nothing but angry,
Yeah.
and nothing but having a thought that they have no choices.
Yeah.
Everybody's got choices.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got choices. Does that mean it's going to be easy? No.
No.
That doesn't mean it's supposed to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's got choices. And when they see someone like you who recognizes your wrong choices and goes out there and says, God, let me be the man I know I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
How many years did you spend in prison total?
2, 3, right at 4.5, close to 5 on 3 different trips.
5 years. 5 years you threw away.
Mm-hmm.
Threw away. But you, through your own effort, are making that time not wasted because you're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about how you got there, and you're talking about how what you know now you should have done differently not to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't ever imagine for 1 second
Mm-hmm.
the eyes are not watching you,
Right. You're right.
especially your own children,
Yes.
but not just your own children, other people's children.
Right.
I know because I've lived some downtime,
Mm-hmm.
but I also know the color of my skin. I didn't have it as rough as you and Electra did. I know this.
Yeah.
If you acknowledge what your life has been like, then you have to acknowledge your ups, downs, valleys, and how you've been treated and mistreated and overtreated and whatever. And you have done that.
Yes.
And because you have done that, you, Mike, you, Doc, you earn my respect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the Korean
And-
also came on and talked about
Korean
that.
too.
The Korean came on and talked about it, and he was saying, he made a point, Doc, where he said that sometimes you gotta slow down. But not only that, he talked about a lot of what he's done. But a point that he made was sometimes your biological dad is not the one that's really your father, because
Right.
he and sometimes, you know, it's that stepdad that steps in. They say, you know what? I'm gonna make sure you make it. You might not be my biological son, but I'm gonna make sure you make it. Look, we got 4 more minutes, but I do want to have another comment that I need to put in here and let you close us out with reactions to this last viewer here, okay? The viewer said, these youngsters don't want to hear nothing from a person who's getting paid to deal with them. It's not authentic. So that's why myself and Jackie was saying to you, that is what you are. You are a peer counselor. A peer counselor is more authentic to them because they know you're not getting paid to do this. I don't
You're
want
doing
you
it out of
to
love.
leave this platform not knowing that you're great.
You're great.
Along
You're
with
great.
other men. I ain't talking about somebody out there got to be with a lot of people. I'm talking about somebody who will step out there by themselves and get it done. Don't never forget that. Please don't never forget that.
Know that this talk that you just gave us will be shared over and over again. I can't even tell you how many times Mike McAfee and Decorian, I personally have shared their videos. I will share yours too, because I know young men out there, young women out there who need to hear it.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Can I make a little?
You got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to say whatever you want to say.
Okay. I just want to thank everybody that tuned in, man. You know, if you got my Facebook or any of that, you can reach out to me, man. I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? But on another note, hey, I've started my little side business. I'm an ambient consultant. I just moved up to regional consultant. And so if you know anybody that don't mind, that want to make some extra income, or somebody that just want to see if I can lower their light bill, plug me in, man, help me grow my business. This is something that I do to keep me, you know, going. But I just want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you was here with us. And we
Yes.
appreciate that, man, because time is the most valuable asset that anybody will ever possess. And for you to
Amen.
give me an hour of your time, that means a whole lot, man. And I appreciate that.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Doc. So sorry
right.
we got to say bye.
All right, now it's all
It
good,
was-
man. Y'all, I
it
gotta
was
be
great
at work
meeting
at 4
you.
o'clock in the morning anyway.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I
Bye.
love you, ain't that true?
Love you too. I love you too.
All right.
Bye.
See you later. Nice meeting you, Miss
Bye.
Jackie.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye bye.